We are back with a new season and another episode of Middle-Aged Moms.
Season
2. We took a little break, but we're back to give you guys all the ins and outs of being hot middle-aged mamas. Ooh. And we actually came in matching today. Look at us. This was not planned, but we are coordinated, as they say.
A coinkydink.
We are in sync. So today, we have basically recorded 50 episodes.
Wow.
That's a huge milestone because did you know that most podcasts don't make it past 20 episodes? Because, you know, as you guys know, this has not been easy. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes organization, which I'm not the best at, but obviously I have two people that help with that. So it takes a lot, and we've made it past 28, and now we are on to 50. So cheers. And welcome to season 2 to our wonderful audience. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and help us grow because we have a lot of good things coming up for season 2. So just really quick, let's do an opener of things that we want to leave in season 1. For lack of a better word. You know how when it's a new year and you leave things back in the old year, like trends or like goofy stuff? So I think it would be appropriate to leave some stuff in season 1. I'll start. So I want to leave diagnosing every man in America with narcissism. Let's leave that alone.
That's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's constant.
Yeah.
It's everyone's go-to pop psych word. Every man is a narcissist. If they don't like you or if they dish you, they have narcissism. Narcissism is a real diagnosis. It's not something that you can just assume somebody has. It gets treated, or no, it can't get treated, right? It's a personality disorder.
Character flaw.
Yeah, but I don't think that we, as the general population, have a right to run around diagnosing people, men in particular, with narcissism. What y'all think about that? It's rampant.
But there are a lot of them out there.
It's true.
Women
not
too.
everybody.
I'm not
Women
leaving
too.
that. I'm still holding on to that one.
There are a lot of them. There are a lot
Right,
of
but do
them
you
out
think
there.
that it's our job to diagnose people?
Of course not.
Right.
But I think it's a better way than calling people crazy all the time.
Yeah, that's true too.
You know.
Yeah. But if someone, like say if you're dating a guy and he's a jerk and he's been mean to you all this time, and then I've noticed that the trend is once you decide to break up or whatever, you're like, well, he was a narcissist. But the whole time he was mean to you. Like, how about he was mean to me the whole time? I didn't like him, so I left the relationship.
Guy because
Right.
there's such thing as just not being a good guy.
Right, but I think that
doesn't mean you're a narcissist.
Exactly, and it comes across as just like I can imagine people just constantly rolling their eyes because how is it that everybody has narcissistic tendencies?
Yeah, and that does not just apply to men. It applies to women as well.
Yeah, but I hear mostly men. That's like the new thing.
Yeah.
It is.
So that's mine.
Yes.
Well, I have one. I'm gonna have to leave these glasses, and I don't even know if you guys should see it in last season because at a basketball game, I took them off of my face and I set them on the bench and I stepped on them, and they were some good glasses, but I have to leave them.
Yeah, that's a good pair. They're nice and fancy.
Yeah. I didn't know they were already broken. Because you had them on earlier.
Yeah, I had them on.
Are you sure you let them go?
I don't have no choice. I have to see.
Actually, you can still wear them because your hair covers the other side.
But they were crooked. I was going to tell
this.
you that they were crooked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When you came in, I was going to say
They were
the same
crooked.
thing. Like,
And this part is like the right part to see through, and this is, it's just a mess. So I'm waiting for my new prescription. But these are really nice.
them because those are the lamb
They're
ones.
so cute.
They don't have them at the optometrist anymore.
Or you can
I
get
looked
the
for
frames and put your prescription in them.
Well, these are broken so bad that they can't be fixed. That's
Get the frames, the same frames, and put your prescription in.
Well, maybe if I called the Gwen Stefani or did something with Gwen Stefani, maybe I could find them, but I didn't. I needed some glasses quick, fast. So I was just like, give me those.
Right. And you're moving on. You're leaving them back.
And I'm leaving them behind.
What you got, Dawn?
Mine's a little more personal.
Okay.
And it's one, I probably mentioned it before, but I'm going to stop talking about my menstrual cycle. I
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about that.
That was definitely a season one reoccurrence.
A lot in season one. But before I retire it, I will say I haven't had a period in 2 months.
You are funny. You're so people. Well, yeah. So you won't be talking about it because it's
it's not existed.
But it keeps tricking me though. I've had this happen before, and then the little naughty sucker would show up full force.
Okay, but we will blast. But see, then we're going to be asking you for an update on the next episode if it came or not. You're not going to tell us.
I'm just not going to talk about it all the time. I feel like I've talked about it like all the time.
Yeah, well,
and I'm not.
You know what they always say is that people don't talk about perimenopause,
right?
Menopause. Don't you hear that a lot? People say, "Oh, you never hear about it," but I think that we're talking about it more now than ever.
We do.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I'm going to retire that, but one thing I do want to bring into season 2 is talking about some of the positive ways that we handle some of those perimenopause symptoms.
Yeah, to take the doom and gloom off of it.
Yes,
because we got to go that way.
Right.
And we have to go that
way. So that is something I'm going to bring into season 2 to talk about some of the ways you can help to manage some of the side effects, some of the symptoms. But I'm not going to keep talking about.
I wish we could get Dr. Tony back on. If you're listening, Dr. Tony, we would love to have you back. I wanted to ask, to anybody, if there is ever a person that doesn't go through it. Like, do you?
That doesn't have the symptom.
Side effects. You can slide right to no period. Like you just.
And like you're
not
just
have it.
Yeah. I wonder has that ever happened?
People just may not be in tune with their body and they don't understand maybe what's happening. Yeah, I know that's what kind of happened to me in the beginning, minus the hot flashes and the night sweats. I mean, that's clear. You know what that is. But I think some of those other things, people may not realize that it's related to that, especially like the mood swings and different things like that.
Right, because going into puberty, I didn't know how PMS was going to present itself until years after the fact, where you're like, why was I such
and
crazy
it's not the
same a week before the cycle?
And it's not the same for everybody.
I do remember being I didn't really have cramps, but I remember being super emotional. I would just be sad and cry. I would be very emotional, but never cramps. I don't know which one would be worse.
I didn't have cramps either, but I would lie and say that I had them if I wanted to stay home.
So you could stay home?
Because nobody did.
Bad Dawn is coming back in season 2.
Yes.
Little Bad Dawn.
We're getting Naughty Dawn for season 2. She's staying.
Naughty Dawn.
We need her.
Naughty little Dawn will forever be here.
Back for season 2.
Because I had friends that have like crazy cramps, and I would be like, ooh, me too.
So funny. Okay, so I'm so excited that Naughty Dawn is staying for season 2. We need her for
We need a cheer for Naughty Dawn.
Yeah, we need a cheer for Naughty Dawn.
Absolutely.
So coincidentally, we record on Sundays, and some breaking news hit before we recorded. So we just cannot not acknowledge the historical thing that happened today. Biden dropped out of the race, and Kamala Harris looks like is going to be the Democratic nominee.
Yes.
The first Black, Asian, multiracial woman to be on that Democratic ticket. So that's just exciting for the country, no matter where you stand.
Right.
Change can be tricky, but it's also good. And it's
inevitable.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Black girl magic.
I'm excited. I kind of got emotional when they announced it. I was sad for President Biden because I don't like the way that things will appear to have gone for him, because I wasn't behind the scenes. Who knows if he orchestrated that whole thing, like, I'm tired, I want to leave, period. But from the optics on the outside looking in, it was kind of sad for me. But I'm glad that she was the one that they picked, and I think it is like invigorating. It's gonna bring some new like energy, hopefully, to the atmosphere,
right?
And
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, get her elected.
But it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Just can you imagine?
Oh wow, the black girl magic.
So that's just part of what's going on in the world, and we're here to talk about it. And that's
anybody but Donald Trump.
Yes.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Okay, so back to our 50th episode. There are a few things that have turned 50 this year. And how crazy is it that Good Times is celebrating its 50th episode?
And I did not know.
I would say episode. On us. 50th anniversary of that show.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Me either.
Yeah.
And that was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Not growing up because it was on when I was a baby, but in my teen years, I like bought the box sets and I would like watch them constantly. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I watched it religiously. Like every day after school. I think it came on like KTLA Channel 9 or whatever. I watched it. I enjoyed it. It's a great television show. Memories coming after school.
Do you have a favorite episode really quick?
Do I have? Probably the wedding scene. Because I'm
when Thelma got
I used
married.
to love when Michael sang "You and I." I like that version better than Stevie's version. I'm such a romantic at
It
heart.
kind of sounded the same. He's a good singer.
Yeah, he sounded great. So I just loved his version of it because it was a cappella. Yeah, I just love romance, even though they didn't make it out the ghetto after that episode. Yeah. But yeah, I loved it so much. So that's my favorite. Do you have a favorite?
I do. Favorite? I have a few. So I really like the episode with Cousin Cletus, where their cousin,
Cletus.
He robbed a bank, he robbed a bank, and he came to the ghetto to hide out in the Cabrini Green projects because that's where they were, and then the episode with what's Felicia
Debbie Allen.
Debbie Allen
was on,
and she was addicted to drugs, and her and JJ got married, and then they eloped, and then she escaped out of a bathroom window because they went across the state line to get married after the prom. Yes, loved it.
I like that one too.
Okay, so I have a surprise for you guys. Since it's our 50th episode, I figured we would tie in some things that turned 50 this year. And I have Chip Hurd, a.k.a. my mom, on the line with us to talk about her iconic role in Good Times and the things that she did to poor little Penny. Hi, Mom. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Mama Chip. This is Camila.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hi, Mama Chip. It's Dawn.
Hey, Dawn, how are you, sweetheart?
Good.
Welcome to Middle-Aged Mamas. Okay, I'm smiling from ear to ear.
So big.
Hey, listen, if you hear loud rumbling, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now, and we get thunderstorms like out of the blue, and I'm hearing one now, so just so you know, that's what the noise might be, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mom, how did you even get that role? Did they call you? Can you give us a little rundown of the story of how that happened?
Sure. When they were first, Norman Lear had come to New York when I was living in New York, and I was sent on an audition for a new show that was going to be in California called Good Times. When I auditioned, I was actually auditioned for the role that Bernadette ended up getting. My approach to the role was more of a tomboyish little sister to JJ, but of course they went with the beauty girl. So Bernadette got the role, but Norman Lear had always told me, Chip, if you ever come to California, give me a call and we will get you working. Well, I finally went to California and called, and he actually took the call and said, I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to have you call this woman, Jane Murray, I believe her name was then. Mm-hmm. She was the official casting director for Good Times. Okay. So I did one episode where I was kind of a little disappointed in the role. It was just kind of to play like JJ's girlfriend in a silly little role that I wasn't feeling, but I did it. And then after that, they called me again and said, we're doing this whole 4-part episode with Janet Jackson, and we'd really like you to come and audition. Well, when I went to audition, the sides that were written for the audition piece, I wasn't feeling those either. So I ended up doing kind of a made up monologue to the two exec producers slash writers, where I talked about Kim, which was real. Kim being a little child celebrity, and people always caring about Kim and what about me. So I basically was writing the monologue that ended up being my monologue for what about me? What everybody cares about Penny when I'm sitting in the chair and Janet
That
is
was
in
one
the
of the
closet.
episodes.
Yeah. So they were very excited about the monologue. And before I could get downstairs on the elevator, my agent called and said, "You got the part." So that's how I got the part. Coming, I don't think I really understood God's direction in my life back then. I didn't realize it was part of a super plan that God had for me, but it was an incredible day.
So that series or that time you were on there, it was only 4 episodes, or because you're ad libbing, it extended those episodes out to 5 and 6.
No, it actually ended up being 4.
Oh, it seemed like it was so much more.
I know that speaks to how iconic that role was. It seemed like it was half a season.
Yeah. It seemed like it went on much longer. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was I did 3 of the 4-parter. The 2 where they met me, then the next one was where it exposed the burning, and then the one where I came back, the 4th episode, I came back to get her when I was wealthy.
Wow.
Right.
So how did you prepare for the role and the part where you pulled the iron out in particular that everyone cannot get over?
I give that that kind of honor for how I got to that. Learning acting in New York is kind of deep because I came out of Harlem, so I had a lot going on in my life, just trying to get through the streets of Harlem. And I had been raised in Virginia, so when I was moved to Harlem at age 7, it was very traumatizing, and I wasn't a happy little girl, but I was an A+ student, making, or I guess what was hurting me, I ended up being teachers' pets, using that pain to help promote good things in my life. And when it came to do that part, I never was abused. I was a very loved child, so I didn't know anything about abuse. I just knew that when I met Janet, I had seen her that summer before, like everybody else, being this adorable little Mae West on the Jackson summer show. And when I went to the first day of rehearsal, I just asked, I think it was like a Thursday, then Friday when we came back the second day, I just asked Joe and her mom if I could have her come spend the weekend with me and Kim, because I knew they'd get to be friends and enjoy that. And I could have a chance for her and I to start working on the role outside of the studio. And so when we got together, she said, "I don't know how to cry to make this feel real." And I talked to her about, you dig deep in your heart and you find what thing sets you off, whatever it is. And I said, and that's your secret weapon. You let that be whatever it is. No matter what I'm saying on the stage, you go to the secret weapon while you're saying your lines. And when I saw the final product and saw those tears welling up in her eyes, I was so proud of her because she went from almost giggling at the discomfort, of doing a serious scene like that to becoming totally immersed in it. And that's pretty much how we bonded as friends. And that summer, she was so cute. That summer after we had done this, she called me and said, "I want to do something else. I want to do something else."
Oh.
And so I wrote a little play that we did in a 100-seat theater in Hollywood. Norman Lear and his whole staff. You hear that? That's not.
Oh, that's thunder.
Yes.
That's that thunder. he brought the whole entire writing team to see the play, and so it was just, we were there at the right time in our lives. God had worked this out. It was just the right time, and she and I became very close because we bonded in an area that a lot of people hated me. I mean, I'm not on social media for a reason. I don't look, I don't check it, but I did go on YouTube just now before your call because I wanted to just see what year, the show started. And then I got caught up reading people's remarks.
And they're negative about that point. I mean, it's been so long.
Well, her acting was just so fantastic that it really put the fear in people of moments like that.
It really did something to you.
Right. And during that time, we didn't talk about abuse at home. Right. You never saw it on TV. Right. So it was shocking. It was just great.
Well, was that a part of a larger conversation, though, during that time? Was anything like that, like going on in the atmosphere, like child abuse or anything like that?
Yeah, it was still pretty much cloaked back in the days, and you didn't go outside and tell what mom and daddy were doing.
Right.
Or you get a worse whipping.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Because all your friends' parents knew your parents, so you didn't put them there. Yeah, the only thing I know, somebody made a comment that lady that played Penny's mother, she ended up getting beat up in the movie right after.
That was your get back.
Is that true?
In another movie.
I did a movie with LeVar Burton called Back.
Oh, that's the movie I was talking about. I was explaining them another movie I saw you in earlier, a while ago, and it was that. It was that movie.
Funny. So was that one take? Do you remember? Was it a few takes, or did you guys nail it in one take? That moment.
We did two shows before live studio audiences back in the day.
Oh, so was an audience there watching?
Yeah, who also hated me. But the thing was, the interesting thing was, Norman Lear was a brilliant man who was ahead of his time. And just like he did Jefferson's and had the nerve to do Archie Bunker character, in those days, he also came to my dressing room after the first show and told me the network really did not want me to do that again.
Wow.
It removed, and they felt it was too strong, and I said, well, what would you like me to do? He said, I'd like you to do it exactly the way you just did.
Bold.
So we did, but the thing was, even in their pain, they gave us a standing ovation for the work. People have to remember, especially these folk that are writing things as if I burned Janet Jackson. That burned Penny. And the whole point of it was to bring to light the terrible secret that a lot of young people were holding because they didn't have anybody to talk to about it.
Right.
So it was done to help encourage young people speak up and start a whole conversation that wasn't going on.
Right.
So was the backlash, was it only within the community or was it also in the industry? Did you have any trouble getting work after that?
I think that's an excellent question because...
Thank you.
Yeah, I struggle a lot with, was that a bad idea for me to do that character? I struggle a lot with it because I didn't really get called to work pretty much other than more Norman Lear shows. Like I did What's Happening, and I played Dee's. What's the girl that was with
Shirley? Was it Shirley?
The girl that was the heavyset actress that was. I played her sister.
Oh yes, yes, but what's her real name? I can't think of her
Shirley on the show.
I played Shirley's sister 1 week. 2 weeks later, I played Rerun's sister, which was hilarious.
She called her Run.
Weren't you a nurse or something in one of those episodes?
Yeah. And the thing was, they were going to do a spinoff with me and Rerun and the guy that played my husband. but something went on with Rerun in real life with them, and so it didn't pan out. I always used to think that it was a bad idea for me to do the Good Times piece. But I tell you, when it's really rewarding, 40 years later, 50 years later, you go to the airport in Atlanta, and from the time I get on the plane, there goes Penny Mama. How you doing? How you doing? So you realize when they were young watching it, hated me, but
but the impact that it had.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, there are memes upon memes upon memes.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Are you still in touch with any of the cast, especially Janet?
For a few years after we did the play, which was that summer of after we had done Good Times, for a few years we would talk once a year at least on birthdays.
Oh, okay.
Got with Jimmy and them to do the Control album. That was kind of the last direct conversation she and I had, because I moved and no longer had that phone number either. But when I ran into Kim at a concert, Kim was, somebody was videoing this reunion for her and Kim. And the first thing she said was, "How's your mom?" And so there's still a heart there. But, I'm kind of a behind the curtain kind of a industry person. I don't like the whole concept of you're a star. I don't like what a lot of the artists have made that look like. And so I chose to be it was a blessing in disguise that I didn't work right after that all the time, because then I honed other skills like coaching a lot of the comedians during I want to say it was the 90s, whenever Steve Harvey and Monique and Mark Curry came out with Hanging with Mr. Cooper. I became like the go-to girl because I didn't really enjoy acting anymore after that. It took the taste out of my mouth. Not that I didn't enjoy the part that I got to do. It was afterwards, it was not, I didn't see a lot of parts that were being offered to me for whatever reason. I didn't even get to go and audition for a lot of stuff. So it made me kind of think, okay, Lord, what are you doing with me? Why aren't I getting those opportunities? And then I started getting calls to be the coach. And Nakia, firsthand, I think, had I not been coaching Steve Harvey, I would not have met your dad.
Right.
Aww.
Yeah. That was meant to be.
Aww.
Yeah. So I've never regretted it. I've been very happy with the timeline that God has set in motion for me.
Right.
And, a lot of them are not here with me anymore. And God has chosen to keep me going. And directing, like I'm here right now. This is our 5th season of Young Dylan for Tyler Perry and Nickelodeon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I get to now, I'm producing and directing it. And I get to throw in writing. And, my musical background, I get to work on music on the show. We have an episode coming up right now for Black History Month where we have Selena. She's going to be singing something. I can't say what right now, but I get to use all the gifts that I got from working out acting class in Alfan Theatrical Ensemble back in Harlem. And we would study, man, from 6 p.m. until 4 a.m.
Wow.
And he said, if you're going to go to work for somebody else and spend 8 hours to build their empire, why wouldn't you give 8 hours to working on your craft?
Another gem.
Right.
Yeah. And it makes sense to me. So, his wife, she knew we were all poor. His wife would make a big pot of chili or something, so we all could eat and at least have something in our stomachs to sit there and work on our craft. So no regrets. I mean, it was, I answer originally when you asked me about did you work after that? Not very much in that area, but I worked in so many other areas after that.
Right.
Right. Mama Chip, this is Camila.
Hey, baby.
Hi. So my question for you is, and you just kind of spoke to it a little bit, like your influence is like so far reaching. And I remember a couple of years ago when the kids, Abby and Guy, graduated, and we were just in the crowd milling around, and you were standing with us. And a guy made a comment. He was like, "Mama Chip, everybody knows and loves Mama Chip." And I was saying that was so true, because I know that you have extended your influence in helping my ex-husband to get his job with the Smith family. And you've just done so much. I just want to know, what do you think your legacy will be? Or what do you want it to be?
That in spite of the industry that I was in, I maintained a desire to see Christ and be more Christ-like in everything I do. Mm-hmm. And that's more important to me than all of it. And also, quite frankly, the work I do down here, when you watch Mr. Perry's, his whole rise and from where he came from, sleeping in the back of his car, you realize Mr. Perry stood at the gates of the first studio he bought, and all he did was pray. He'd pray, and he'd have Cassie standing right with him, praying, and an evangelist that Nakia, you remember we had at our church, and Camila, she would stand there and pray, and every show that starts the first shot, before you do the first shot, you pray. And so that then became, when I directed House of Pain and Meet the Browns, it was so nice that's how I start the day before I directed anything. I would go, okay, let us pray. After we had, notes from security or whatever, it would be, let us pray. And that has turned into a little mini ministry here.
That's great.
That, again, I didn't know that's what that was going to be. And the beauty of it is, Camila, in terms of the legacy, people come up quietly from the crew all day long when they can catch me in a little corner by myself, and they'll go, "Mama Chip, you don't know how that really ministered to me today, what you said."
That's wonderful.
How did you know? And I said, I don't know. I just wait for God to tell me. So when you hear things like in the Bible where it says Moses heard God say, "I will be thy mouth and I will be thy tongue," that's more real than people really know.
Yeah.
Because there in obedience, and you stand there totally surrendering, and he will tell you what to say, like in that audition for Good Times.
Right.
I ended up never auditioning because I didn't think that what was written to audition was going to show me in a very good light. So I just made it up. I got into performing arts high school making up a monologue because I didn't have a monologue prepared, because I didn't know what a monologue was.
Right. Right.
So, and Nakia, your husband, William, my son-in-law, always says, "Mom, you've lived 1,000 lives."
Yes, he does. It's true.
If I ever wrote a book, that would be the name of the book.
Oh, wow.
The difficult thing about when I realized, because I'm actually writing a book now on Storyworth, but the difficult thing about a book is I don't have a heart to go after anybody that crossed my path badly. They were there for a reason, to make me better, not bitter.
So good.
Yeah. And so people go, "How do you keep this energy?" And I go, if you dance on top the blessings, you will always dance. And he keeps putting blessings under my feet, makes me dance.
Wow. Mom, that's awesome. Beautifully said. You are such an inspiration to so many people as middle-aged women moving into their next chapters after raising children, after raising 2 children in the industry, and keeping them humble and grounded and well-liked and well-loved. You just speak to so many mothers out there, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you a lot.
To share a little piece of your history with us.
Thanks, kid. Congratulations on your 50th episode.
Thank you.
Yes.
Whatever you call it
in podcast land.
Thank you, Mom.
But to do anything for 50, anything, I tell your dad all the time, I never did anything for over 6 years consistently, but be married to you, Irvin.
Aww. That's sweet.
And we have it recorded now.
And he's so
there's the
sweet.
legacy.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Stay dry and stay away from the windows.
I know, right?
In Atlanta.
Turn the TV off.
We'll be sure to catch your directorial episodes.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you, Mama Chip.
Y'all take care, Don, Camila, Kia. Much love. And remember, I haven't done this interview like this for anybody.
I know.
But you were the ones that made me want to do it. So thank you.
We appreciate
honored.
you.
So honored.
Take care, babies.
Thank you so much. What a treat.
That was cool.
That is a treat. That was good. That's
Such
good
a
gems.
treat.
Where do we go from here, ladies?
Oh, wow.
Where do we go from here? She is someone that has run the gamut in the industry for decades now.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to get so many. Well, I can't believe I'm surprised that she dropped so many gems.
Yeah.
But reinventing yourself, continuing
Absolutely.
to move forward, and not dancing on your blessings.
That was a good word right there.
That's really good.
And all the work she does behind the scenes, because I know for me, I never followed, her career as far as what happened after Good Times. I was a kid, and I was certainly a fan of the show and a fan of hers, even though I was a little scared. She scared you. I was absolutely scared because back then she's such an amazing actress that it felt so real. And she looked very intimidating and very scary.
But isn't it weird that we would watch those episodes, like when they would come on reruns, even though it scared us, we were like, ooh, I
was never scared of it. I just thought she was mean, but she was really good in that show.
She was mean and scary.
Yeah.
Like
she was believable.
Yes, even now when I watch it, even you know what's gonna happen, but I'm still like, has it happened yet?
Has it happened yet?
Don't burn her. Don't burn her. You know you're going to get burned.
Right. Ouch. Because everybody loved Penny because everybody loved Janet Jackson.
Yeah, good pairing.
Yes.
And how about Norman Lear being gutsy enough to be like,
wow.
He was well before his time. Do it anyway.
Well, everybody has said that about Norman Lear, that he was a man before his time and that he was like willing to risk it all, putting all those different scenarios on TV, like Archie Bunker and then George Jefferson saying nigga, just all kinds of crazy stuff, the language,
and cracker.
Just all of that, all of it.
He was very bold, certainly not concerned about all the sensitivities that we have to be careful about now. He didn't care about being canceled,
because imagine where we would be had he not pushed the envelope and allowed stuff like that to be on TV.
A little bit of that back, not being so politically
and
correct
sensitive,
and being
a whole lot of
someone's
stuff.
Feelings. Feelings aren't necessarily facts. You can hear someone's thoughts without being totally offended.
It was a reality at that time.
And I think that's something that I'm bringing to my parenting is, the real, not so much the soft and fluffy. They can't handle it because it also makes kids feel like they can't handle anything. Like everything's so soft and sweet and fluffy. Like you can handle it.
Yeah, they need to know how strong they are.
Yeah, and feel your feelings.
Right,
absolutely.
Feel the feels.
Absolutely. I was just talking to Dean about that on the way to your house when he was like, we were talking about the election and talking about all the stuff that's going on associated with it. He was like, I'm scared. I was like, no, you're not scared. You can feel the way, or you can be scared, but you can't move in that fear. Like you gotta put your big kid pants on, put your big boy pants on, and you gotta move toward whatever it is that you need to accomplish. You need to push through it. You can't let fear like stop you. That's the beginning of the end.
Or I heard someone once say, do it anyway, even do it while you're scared. Yeah, just do it.
Because sometimes it doesn't get any easier. I mean, being an adult is scary. You know what I'm saying? But I hate the dark. But guess what? I gotta get up in the middle of the night if I hear something, and I gotta go wherever that noise is coming from. Because
you gotta go scared.
Yes, Dean ain't gonna do it, and ain't nobody else in the house but me. Me and my bat. Go to the front door.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
And I think when situations present themselves, especially as an adult, you find out how strong you actually are.
Absolutely.
You know, because I've experienced some things this past year that have shown me not only, especially what Mama Chip was saying, my faith in God, how strong that is, but also just how strong I am as a person, as a mom, as a wife. You know, when those challenges come, to have the resiliency and the strength to be able to face them head on. You realize how strong you really are, and to certainly have supportive people around you to help pick you up when you feel like I might not be able to get up. That's so important. You know, having a very supportive network around you. You know,
that's important.
Yeah. Wow, that was good.
It was.
That's wonderful.
So, that's episode 1 of season 2.
Yay!
In the books. If you loved this episode, I'm sure you did. Stay tuned for more, because we have a whole new season filled with great guests, great conversations. And don't forget to write into us and let us know if you have something on your mind. We'll be throwing out a call-in number soon. But if you want to reach us, leave a DM. We'll get back to you, and maybe we'll have you on the air as well.
Yay!
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers. Exciting times.
Thanks, you guys. Till next time.
Bye.